Hello. So the question is Britain stronger, or what's the difference between the British Army and the Russian Army? By the way, I'm doing a little animated film about a soldier in the First World War, and I think the comparison is, or the subject matter that I'm drawing is quite relevant to the subject matter in discussion, because we're looking at a war of attrition that's going on in Ukraine, and that's very much like the war of attrition that went on in First World War in the trenches in Flanders. But essentially, is Britain stronger than Russia? Of course it's not. Russia is the second strongest military power in the world, trailing behind the US. 50% of the US, 50% of the US, Russia has 50% population that the US has, but it has a landmass which is considerably bigger. And if it were to be a battle of attrition, Russia's landmass and the number of people that it can put into the army is significant. Also, Russia is spending significantly more than any other nation, I think, at the moment on defence. It's spending 4% of its GDP on defence. That's from 2022, from August the 25th, 2022. But I believe that's now increasing. It's increased the size of its armed forces, and the plan is to have 2 million soldiers in the ranks. At the moment, there's 70 million people in Russia who are available for military service, of whom 47 million are considered fit for service. There's 850,000 active soldiers and 250,000 in reserve. Considerable numbers. And there's conscripts. Now, Britain has no conscripts. That may be a positive. And in fact, Russia, in 2019, pointed out that it was going to stop conscripting people into the army because it wasn't worth it. It was Russia conscripts about 1.3 million every year when people get to the age of 18, and then I think if they avoid that draft, when they get to the age of 21. And Britain, in contrast, no conscription. It has 198,000 soldiers, of whom 137,000 are full-time. Now, you think, therefore, the British military is really rather flimsy, but it's not. It's eighth. It's eighth in the world. It's eighth ranking in the world, and so it pulls its weight. Although we're not spending that much on defence, we should be spending significantly more, shouldn't we? I mean, if you look at the tools that we've got available, we've got Russia has 70 submarines. We have 10. We have 10 submarines. We have 555 aircraft. Russia has 4,000. But the difference is that the Russian aircraft and Russian equipment is old and technologically inferior to British equipment. British soldiers are better trained and supplied. British tanks are arguably better. The Challenger, the Leopard, what's the other one? The Abrams, among the best in the world. And we have better drones, better surveillance, we have logistical skills. Of course, you could say, well, we may have good drones in theory, but the Russians have been using their drones and been using Iranian drones, and they've been using Turkish drones, or is it just Kyiv that's been using Turkish drones? Anyway, we've not put any of our drones to practice. We've not had them in the field, have we? But Russia has problems getting its sort of logistics, getting its act in gear, whereas we are particularly good at logistics. We can We can get ready and be out there in a matter of days or hours. But in a war of attrition, like that developing in the Ukraine, Russia has the numbers that Britain, even if Britain were part of a NATO force, Britain could not possibly muster. So people have been asking this question, and I'm simply responding to it. I wonder whether or not this will actually play. This is. Let me see if I can play it. I fit it to view, and then we just see if we can play this little sequence. So this is a fellow singing. The stage. Yeah, that's it. There's not very much. You spend hours working. The stage. There you are. There you are. This is, and I've missed out his leg here, and I've missed out the belt there. Right, that's it.